Hello and welcome to Women's Slalom Day here in Spindleruv Mlyn in the Czech Republic on the Audi FIS Ski World Cup Tour. We are excited to bring you day 2 of live racing action from the slopes of Spindleruv. It was an exciting giant slalom day yesterday. And here we are once again today. It has been a couple of seasons since the women last stopped here in the Czech Republic for slalom races. It was 2 back-to-back races in 2023. 2 slaloms. First day was won by Michaela Shiffrin. Day 2 was won by Lena D&uuml. Slight change in weather here today. You can see the fog in at the top of the slopes, but that shouldn't be a problem. Weather will be consistent visibility just fine for the slalom slopes. Lara Colturi getting ready, preparing at the top. She has been on the podium 4 times this season, but the dominance on the Women's Slalom Tour is Michaela Shiffrin. As I'm sure many of you know, out of 7 races, she has won 6 of those races. The only other winner on this season's Slalom Tour was Camille Rast. She took the win in Kranjska Gora just at the beginning of this month. Katharina Truppe getting ready. She just took a podium finish in Flachau. And, well, we'll see what she can do. Here's a look at the winners this season. It's Shiffrin across the board, other than Rast there for Kranjska Gora. This is round 8 of 10 here. This is the last World Cup event on the Slalom Tour ahead of the Olympic Winter Games. And then you see there, we go to Åre for the final regular season World Cup and then the World Cup finals in Lillehammer. Well, there you can see it. D&uuml and Shiffrin have won here before. They're the most recent winners on this slope. This is also where Shiffrin had her first ever World Cup start on tour back in 2011. Incredible atmosphere here in Spindleruv Mlyn. The fans really gathering in, and it's just a great venue. You can really line up the side of the run, and it'll give the athletes that noise and the atmosphere from the crowd. Well, there you can see that fog that is in play at the start of the slope. Temperatures are pretty much identical start to finish. We're just below freezing here today, and that fog seen in the middle. But this is slalom, it's shorter, tighter turns. That visibility, low visibility, won't affect the racers as much as it would do if this were a Super G or even a giant slalom, as we had yesterday. Let's have a look at this run number 1 on the Cerna race course. This first run was set by the Italian coach, Roberto Lorenzi. Quick through those combinations. The opening section is a bit flatter. Oh, there the camera, the skier just having a little bit of trouble. That shows how slick that surface, although we've warmed up a little bit, it's only -1, but that surface is really going to stay solid. And this will be a key combination there, just as they come off the steep section. And a couple of open gates, and again, a quick through that flush and carrying good speed across this flat section in the middle will be really important to, well, test your chances at taking top spot, won't it? Now it drops off just a little bit more before the finish. The turns will push here ever so slightly. Speeds will pick up. Really important that the slalom skiers keep that tempo high and ahead of the rhythm of the course. So it's going to be an exciting run number 1 here. It's a 2-run race. 2-run combined times, and well, this first run is about to get underway in a couple of minutes' time. We have 66 racers on the start list here, and there are the young fans cheering on the Czech racers on today's start list. Well, those racers will come a little bit later down on the start list, but Martina Dubowska will have bib 45. She'll be the first of the Czech racers starting here today, and there are 5 in total. Bib 66 being the final racer. So those racers starting from bib 31 and beyond. We're trying to get into that second run. Well, there's the forerunner. We have one of the Czech Republic Paralympic athletes. Incredible. Absolutely incredible how they managed to do that. It really is spectacular to see. What a great event here in Spindleruv Mlyn. What a great day for racing. Let's have a look at our top athletes presentation. Well, Michaela Shiffrin wearing the red bib. The clear leader on the overall standings has bib number 1. Lena D&uuml, who has won on this slope before, is wearing bib 2. Lara Colturi has been on the podium 4 times already this season. She'll be 3rd out of the gate. Paula Moltzan on the podium in yesterday's giant slalom and on the podium in the last slalom in Flachau. Camille Rast wears bib 5, followed by Truppe with bib 6 for Austria. Wendy Holdener, bib number 7. Anna Sven Larsson with 8. Emma Aicher is skiing strong. She has bib 9, and rounding off the top 10 is Melanie Meillard for Switzerland. There's the rest of your top athletes from 11 and onwards. And Moltzan saying, well, today she's just going to take the confidence in from yesterday's podium finish on this hill. But she's also been, she found the podium twice this season, did Moltzan. Currently finds herself ranked 5th in the overall standings. Camille Rast is the one who trails Michaela Shiffrin on the overall standings. She's the only other winner on the slalom tour this season. But that gap is 268 points. So it is within the cards here today for Michaela Shiffrin to be able to clinch the globe in the slalom standings. Well, myself, Britt Janik, and the team at FIS TV, we are excited and ready to bring you today's live action as we get underway here in just over a minute's time. It will be the American Michaela Shiffrin wearing the red bib who will get things underway. Michaela Shiffrin to start things off here in round 8 of 10 on the Audi FIS Ski World Cup Tour. Winner of 6 slalom races this season, 6 of 7. And she's going to give us a first good look at how this race course, how this set is running. And there you can see it. She can secure her 9th slalom globe here today in Spindleruv. And we are off on course wearing the red bib. Michaela Shiffrin for the USA is taking a good charge on these opening turns. Ooh, a little bit of trouble. That tight hairpin in the opening section. Just causing Shiffrin to put the skis sideways ever so slightly, but it's the recoveries, how quick she can get back to the front of the ski on the new turn and back into the rhythm of the course. Quick through that combination, and here we can see how high the tempo is as they come off that steep pitch and across the flats here through the finishing section. Oh, she's making this look smooth. Very much in control for Michaela Shiffrin here on run number 1. Just one more combination to go through these last few turns, and she sets the time at 48.6 48.80, and the crowd is ecstatic to see her in the finish. So again, Mikaela Shiffrin had her first World Cup start here on the slopes of Spindleruv, and she has won here. That was, well, I must say, well skied. Here's the only slight error, just comes out of that hairpin with quite a bit of speed, has to put the skis, just adjust the her line ever so slightly. It's that speed, that ability to get right back into the rhythm that keeps Mikaela Shiffrin out in front race after race. Can the others catch her? So that time set by Mikaela Shiffrin, 48.80. Lena D&uuml is next to go. For Germany, out on course now. Well, we'll have a look here, and Lena D&uuml has 2 World Cup victories to her name. One of those victories was here in Spindleruv in 2023. She's off the pace by 0.96. It's Mikaela Shiffrin at the bottom leading the way. Now Lena D&uuml has found the podium this season, and that was in round 3 in Copper Mountain. Since then, she's had a couple of DNFs, and she now finds herself 1.71 off the pace. Oh, this isn't the first run she was hoping for. Well off the pace set by Mikaela Shiffrin. Lena D&uuml for Germany through the final turns, and she'll stop the clock at 51.27. Well, I think that's perhaps showing us that Lena D&uuml's skiing, the speed is missing, but also, I must say, Mikaela Shiffrin's run was very on point. Wearing bib number 3, racing for Albania, it's Lara Colturi next to go. Again, she is one of 7 other racers on the start list who have found the podium this season, and she has found the podium 4 times. Really strong start to the season with 2 second-place finishes in round 1 and 2, and followed that up with a 3rd-place finish, a DNF, and then another 3rd-place finish. Can Colturi find that podium again? Perhaps she can find top spot. Oh, she's into trouble here. Oh, Colturi skis out. Oh, that's a shame. Just not able to keep up with that quick tempo on the flats here. You can see she's trying to put the feet out, get them around the gate, and just losing the line. The hips staying behind the feet, and not able to really be driving the skis into the turn. Oh, that's a shame for Colturi. All smiles at the bottom for Shiffrin. There's Colturi having a chat with her dad, who's one of her coaches, and we go back to the top. Paula Moltzan, 2nd at the last slalom race. 2nd yesterday in the giant slalom. I thought she was going to be oh so close to take the win, her first ever World Cup victory, but it wasn't to be. Sarah Hector took the win yesterday for Sweden, but Paula Moltzan's 2nd run was absolutely flying. And here on the opening section, she's off the pace by 0.6 of a second, just holding on to the turn ever so slightly. Now here's where the tempo picks up quick through that delay, and then start to drive some speed across the flats here. And she as well off the pace of Mikaela Shiffrin, almost a second back. Paula Moltzan now through that final split, 1.17 off the pace, just a couple of turns to go. One last quick combination here. Oh, and Moltzan nearly goes down, but she does make it to the line. But it's that time gap, 1.66 off the pace. Let's go back to the top. We're getting through these top racers, and it's Camille Rast for Switzerland next to go. Rast just missing out on the podium in yesterday's giant slalom. Let's see what she can do here. The only other winner on tour, Michaela Shiffrin, has taken 6 wins, and this lady right here on screen took a win in Kranjska Gora. 0.42 off the pace on that opening split. Now through that steep section, and the slope moves quick through that combination, flattens out here, and the tempo really lifts, and Camille Rast not quite able to match the tempo and the time set by Michaela Shiffrin. She's off by 1.17 now at the final split, losing a little bit more time. Camille Rast is trying her best to find some extra speed here on the closeout. Rast crosses the line into second, but ties with Moltzan, 1.66 back of Shiffrin. Well, I get the sense Shiffrin just wants to wrap up that globe here today and now. But remember, 2-run race, lots of racing to come still. But I must say that this first run from Shiffrin, first out of the gate, she has set quite the target time. Here we go with Katharina Truppe, first Austrian out on course. When she has trouble right on that second gate, just throws her out of position and has to take a little moment to get herself back into rhythm. The tempo and rhythm of slalom is so high, and any little bobble just takes the speed, that little bit of speed off the skiing. And there you can see it, 0.95 off the pace for Truppe. Now through that flush, drops off the pitch. This is where we saw Colturi ski out of the track, and Truppe just missing the tempo ever so slightly, but she stays in the course. 1.62 off the pace now for Truppe. And Katharina Truppe through the final turns, stops the clock and finds herself 4th, 2.04 off the pace. Wendy Holdener on course now. Can Wendy Holdener find some speed here on this course? Close that gap to Shiffrin. .69 off the pace here for Holdener. Trying to stay on the front of the ski. Get that arc quick on. And now starts to drive across the flats. Wendy Holdener, 1.05 off the pace here. That gap from Shiffrin down to Rast and Moltzan is 1.66. Can Holdener slot in between them? And she drives to the line. Wendy Holdener into second here on this first run. 1.26 back of Shiffrin. Sven Larsson wearing bib number 8. Let's see what the Swede can do here on this first run. 16 World Cup podiums to her name, 2 victories on the World Cup Tour for the 34-year-old Swedish racer. Very much a veteran on tour, and just struggling here on the steeps. 1.03 off the pace. Had a couple of good quick turns there linked together, and then just gets off the rhythm and hangs on to that turning ski a little bit too long. Now sets off across this flat lower section, 1.25 off the pace now for Sven Larsson, nice and quick through the flush, and drops into this final, the closeout on this race piece here in Spindleruv Mlyn. She's trying to find some extra speed here. She stops the clock, slots into 5th position. So still leading the way, Michaela Shiffrin, first out on course. Wendy Holdener sits second, and Camille Rast and Paula Moltzan tied for 3rd. Maybe that's Rast standing there saying, Shiffrin, what did you do? So that time cap, there's still space. Can Emma Aicher find something here on this first run? Close that gap to Shiffrin, or she's found the tempo here. Just holding on ever so slightly to that edge. Hasn't found that quick pace and tempo that we saw from Shiffrin, who was first out of the gate. But often with Aicher, it can be a little bit deceiving because she's so smooth, so calm over the skis, so nicely balanced over those short slalom skis. And as she moves across the flat, she's dropped down to over a second off the pace of Shiffrin. 1.30 off the pace at that 3rd and final split. One last combination to move through, and Emma Aicher crosses the line, has skied into 3rd, 1.47 back. Okay. Stacking in tight from 2nd place and downwards. Melanie Meillard, the 3rd Swiss skier to start this first run, now out on course. When getting into trouble, that's the entrance to the pitch. That's actually the exact gate where we saw the camera skier miss the turn and ski out. And here, Melanie Meillard just not getting the grip on that turning ski. There's that extra little bit of time as the ski tries to hold on. And now she can stand up over the skis and start to drive the speed across the flatter section here on the lower part of this track. 2.54 off the pace for Meillard. Didn't finish in flak out. And here today, she's trying to pick up some more points. Skis into 9th for the moment. So far, one racer has skied out. That was Lara Colturi. Sarah Hector next to go, your winner from yesterday's giant slalom, and she has finished 12th here. The last time we stopped in Spindleruv Mlyn, so important in slalom. Very slightly different than some of the other disciplines, but to get the setup right. How aggressive do you want the skis for the surface of the snow? And those skis, they're so short, they want to turn and you want them to engage very quickly and then release quickly. So these racers working closely with their ski technicians to make sure that the setup is fine-tuned for the current, the race conditions and snow conditions on each and every day. Oh, Hector, quick through that final combination. She skis into 8th for the moment, 2.34 back of Shiffrin. Let's stay with Team Sweden here. We go to the top. Cornelia Öland next to go. 5th is her best finish on the slalom tour. She nearly matched that again in Semmering at the Christmas break. She finished 7th on this year's slalom tour, and she really has found some consistency here this season. Currently finds herself ranked 8th on the slalom standings. My apologies, 18th. 0.78 off the pace at split number 1 for Öland. .30 off the pace now. And that gap, it's Wendy Holdener who sits 2nd. She finds herself 1.26 off the pace set by Michaela Shiffrin. Cornelia Öland looking strong here on the closeout. And through these last final turns, Öland stops the clock at 50.80 into 7th position. First for the French skiers, Marion Chevrier. She finished 19th in Flackout on the 13th of January. Best finish this season was a 9th back in Courchevel. So she has found the top 10 this season. 1.48 off the pace. Well, for me, Chevrier here on this first run needs to lift the tempo as she moves across the flats. Skied some nice turns down that steep section, but didn't find the release to carry some speed off the pitch and onto the flats. And here at the third and final split, 2.44 off the pace now for Chevrier. And for Marion, for France, she skis into 11th. Laura Delamea next out on course. Delamea is, for me, has just really started to find some consistency on the giant slalom and slalom tour. But if you look back at the last time we raced here in 2023, Delamea finished 19th. So she has some experience here on this slope. But that split already 1.44 off the pace. She needs to find something here on the closeout as she moves off the steep section, through that flush, nice and quick, and across the flats here. Now, Delamea tries to lift the tempo in the skiing, but the time above has cost her. 2.42 off the pace. Delamea now 3.18 off the pace. Oh, this isn't what we've been seeing from the Italian. And Delamea makes it to line, slots into 13th for the moment. Yeah, a little shake of the head from Delamea. Just over skiing the upper half of the course ever so slightly, and it really is. If you think back to Shiffrin, if you missed it, you might want to go back and see it. But Shiffrin, who went first out of the gates, had a really high tempo and rhythm right from the first turn. Let's go to Zrinka Lucic for Croatia. Lucic looking to find that speed back in her skiing. She's working hard with her coaches, her trainers, her setup to just get that speed back. The skiing is still there, but that confidence has slipped away ever so slightly. Lucic is last season's overall globe winner in the slalom discipline. And you can see it on those turns. She's getting the turn set, getting strong on that edge, but the release into the next turn isn't the same as what she's had before. And Bucik finds herself 1.73 off the pace, starting to drive the speed across the flatter section here, and then drops into the closeout here. 2.01 off the pace for Bucik. Moves quick through that final combination. Zrinka Bucik stops the clock into 11th position for the moment. Two years ago on these slopes, she finished third in that slalom race. This is where Bucik picked up. That was her first ever World Cup podium back in January of 2023. Let's go to bib 16, Katharina Gallhuber for Austria. Katharina Gallhuber has picked up 5-point scores in 7 races on the slalom tour. Finds herself a second off at that first split. You can see there is a groove starting to set. These racers, as we move through the start list, it gets a little bit harder. You have to find the groove, especially in slalom. Find the groove. If you start to fight that groove that's starting to set on the track, and it takes the speed out of the turn. 2.17 off the pace here for Gallhuber with bib 16. Looking to get herself well into the top 15 for the moment. Skis into 12th. Have a look at the standings so far after 16 racers. Michaela Shiffrin leads the way. It's that time gap that you see on the side, 1.26 ahead of Wendy Holdener. Emma Aicher sits in third. And Lara Colturi, so far the only skier to not finish this first run. And we are early into this first run here in Spindleruv Mlyn. Have a look at the fastest 3 so far in reverse order. Moving to bib number 17, next to go for Switzerland, Eliane Christen. She's twice been 9th on the Audi FIS Ski World Cup Slalom Tour. And at the last slalom race in Flackout, that is exactly where she finished. So coming off the back of a top 10 finish in Flackout. 0.69 off the pace here for Christian. That was a spectacular ski for her in Flackout. Christen now 1.25 off the pace. It's Switzerland who sits second with Wendy Holdener at the moment. Eliane Christen, nice and smooth at the turns here. This is flowing nicely on the closeout. Eliane Christen trying to get into that top 10. Oh, she's missed it for the moment. 2.5 off the pace. And she's in 11th here. And it's Katharina Gallhuber next to go for Austria. 83 World Cup starts for the 28-year-old and has not found the World Cup podium, but she does have an Olympic medal in this discipline. She's had a couple of injuries in recent seasons, and this really is the first season in a couple where she's being consistent on tour. And Gallhuber at the second split finds herself 2.20 off the pace. .48 now for Gallhuber through that final hairpin, and Katharina Gallhuber for Austria stops the clock at 51.96 into 16th position. Martina Petrolini out on course now. It's the Italian coach who has set this first run, Roberto Lorenzi. And Petrolini needs to lift the tempo here. You can see the difference there, just holding. She's trying to get the direction, the turn that she needs, but it's a little bit too long and heavy on the edge. 1.51 off the pace here for Petrolini. This first split. And now through that flush, and that's the cue. That's when the tempo really starts to lift. They need to drive, take speed through that delay gate and carry it all along this flat section. Petrolini through that third and final split, 2.73 off the pace now for the Italian. And Martina Petrolini will slot into 17th position here on this first run. Hanna Aronson-Elfman for Sweden next to go. And I was looking at those results myself. She has found the top 10 here in Spindleruv Mlyn back in 2023. And although we are a couple seasons later, it's a different course set. Often when you have a good result on a slope, that gives you confidence coming into the next races. Hanna Aronson-Elfman now driving across the flats on this lower section, 2.53 off the pace. Just losing another couple of tenths here, and Aronson-Elfman for Sweden drops for the line into 18th position here. Marie Lamure for France next to go. The 24-year-old, this is her 49th World Cup start. She was 12th in Flachau on the 13th of January. It was a great finish for her. 0.89 off the pace here. And Lemire. Moves quick off that steep section and driving across the flats. She's keeping it under 2 seconds for the moment. Lemire now just over 2 seconds off the pace. Needs to keep the tempo high here. Try and drive some speed to the finish line. And Marie Lemire for France skis into 14th position. Mina first Holtman next to go. Now, first Holtman through this steep section, and that groove is starting to set in so that the line that these racers down the start list can take won't be quite as tight. It's just such a small margin of difference, but it does make it harder to then ski the same rhythm and tempo as those that went before you. But Mina first Holtman charging through the closeout here, and Holtman crosses the line, skis into 21st. And that will not be the ski that she was looking for. Having a look at the standings here, it's Michaela Shiffrin still leading the way. Wendy Holdener, Emma Aicher in third. And there's that tie between Rast and Moltzan for fourth. Zrinka Lucic sitting 12th for the moment, had her first ever World Cup podium here in Spindleruv, Mlyn. Just taking a moment to clean up the course. Well, there you can see just how hard the course workers work and to keep the racetrack and the course in excellent condition as we move through this start list. Bib 23 next to go for Austria, Lisa Horhager. We have 66 racers on this first run start list. The fastest 30 to that second run. Horhager now out on course for Austria, the 24-year-old. This her 41st World Cup start. And in those 41 World Cup starts, well, in the 40 World Cup starts, she's found the top 30 10 times and is looking, oh, she's gone down. Takes a hard hit, straddles the gate, throws her onto the ground, and that is a tough crash for Lisa Horhager. We'll have a look here. She was moving nicely, but just catches the top of that hairpin. And that Oh, that's unfortunate for the Austrian. So Lisa Horhager will not finish here today on the first run. Well, we're just taking a moment here to see how Horhager is. That was a heavy hit and a strong, the way the ski straddled and pulled her leg out to the side quickly. Shiffrin at the bottom leads the way on this first run. Was the first racer out on course here. As fastest, the top ranked 7 are drawn from numbers 1 to 7. So she drew bib number 1. She also wears the red bib. Then the second half, the second top ranked athletes ranked 8 to 15, they are drawn between bibs 8 and 15. And then from that point on, bibs 16 onwards start in their ranking order of World Cup points. Some fans for AJ Hurt. Well, that's good to see Horhager sliding down the slope, both skis on. She's taking it easy, so we hope that she is uninjured and just a bit sore from that crash. Bucik Jogan next to go for Slovenia, and now out on course. Drops into this steep section, and this is where it's that challenge. The slope looks steeper, the turns swing, but can you keep moving and stay quick on the turn, not hold onto that turning edge too long? And that is exactly what Shiffrin did through that whole section. She was able to stay light on the edges, light on the turn, while still having that really strong and quick impulse on the ski to release, take speed through every section. Bucik Jogan now 2.98 off the pace on that third and final split. She crosses the finish line and slots into 20th position. Kayla McFarland next to go for France. She's found the top 20 on the Women's World Cup Slalom Tour twice. Can she solidify a good result here again? One run at a time, and she has this race run right in front of her. 1.32 off the pace at split number 1 for McFarland. She grew up racing out of Saint-Jean-d'Alpes in the Port du Soleil region of France. McFarland, 2.56 off the pace now, that third and final split. Nice and quick through that hairpin, a couple more turns, and dives for the line. McFarland into 15th position, slots in behind Marie Lamure. So, yeah. It's a good solid ski from McFarland. Puts herself in a good position for the second run. back to the top we go with bib 26 for Austria. It's Natalie Falk. In Flachau, she finished 17th, and just before that in Semmering, she picked up her best ever 11th place finish on the Audi FIS Ski World Cup Tour. 1.6 off the pace at that first split, partway down the steep pitch. Then there's that quick hairpin, couple more turns, and then drive quickly through the flush here, and then really start to stand up over the skis and build speed across the flats on the lower part of the track. 2.71 off the pace now for Natalie Falk. And Falk drops for the line, 23rd position. Oh, just losing a little too much speed on the upper half of the slope through the steeps there. Nina O'Brien for Team USA out on course now. Nina O'Brien picked up her best ever finish on the World Cup Tour yesterday in the giant slalom, where she finished 5th. And her teammates Paula Moltzan and Michaela Shiffrin were 2nd and 3rd. It really was a strong showing yesterday from the American women's team. Now Nina O'Brien drives through that flush. Strong opening split, and here at interval number 2 finds herself 1.10 off the pace. Remember, to 2nd place, Wendy Holdener sits 1.26 off the pace, and Michaela Shiffrin 1.57 off the pace now for Nina O'Brien. Driving through these turns, the closeout. And O'Brien slots into 7th. Keeps it just under 2 seconds back. Good ski from bib 28 into 7th position. Estelle Alphon next to go. Years of age is Estelle Alphon, and such a nice dynamic giant slalom and slalom skier. She had a great first run yesterday, skied out on the 2nd run, which was so disappointing. She was going well, and this is good solid. Ooh, stay over the skis. Just gets a little bit out of control there, ever so slightly. 2.35 off the pace for Alphon. 2.76 off the pace now at that 3rd split. Just a couple of gates to go now for Estelle Alphon, racing for Sweden. She drops in to 21st, and for the moment is into that top 30. AJ Hurt out on course now, wearing bib 30. 2 racers missing from the top 30. Those are the 2 Canadians, Ali Nolmeyer and Laurent Saint-Germain, just managing some small injuries for the moment, and have decided to take this weekend off to do a little recovery, get back to their training, and prepare for the Olympic Winter Games. This is the last World Cup slalom race ahead of the Olympic Winter Games, and that slalom event for the women will be held on the 18th of February in Cortina d'Ampezzo. AJ Hurt, ooh, she's hanging on here, but she has successfully made it through the whole course, and she skis into 16th position, 2.69 back. Aline Hopley next to go. For Switzerland, the 24-year-old skier, this her 22nd World Cup start. She found 18th position in Flacco on the 13th of January in round 7 on the Slalom Tour. .15 off the pace through the midsection of this course. Flattens out and then it drops over just a little bit more on this final section to the finish line. Oh, and she gets into trouble through that last combination. Hopley into 26th position. Have a quick look here. After 31 racers, Michaela Shiffrin leads the way. Wendy Holdener, Emma Aicher, second and third. It's an exciting first run. There is time. Well, there's time between first and second, and then it starts to stack up, so things could move around in the second run. And you can also see Asa Ando choosing not to take the start here today in Spindleruv. Mlyn, Japanese racer who's had some good, strong races here on this season's slalom tour. But it's these three who are fastest so far on this first run, and it's particularly Michaela Shiffrin who leads the way by 1.26 of a second. Leona Popovic for Croatia next to go, wearing bib 32. She has found the top 5 here on this slope 3 seasons ago in 2023 when we raced a double slalom here in Spindleruv Mlyn. Leona Popovic was 5th on day 2 of racing. Since that season, she has picked up an injury. This is her season returning from injury and still rebuilding that confidence on the slalom skis. At this second split, 3.34 off the pace for Popovic. And Popovic will cross the line, skis into 27th for the moment. And I feel that just might not be enough for a second run for the Croatian. We go to Canada. Amelia Smart now out on course, next to go. We've tightened up the start intervals slightly, and we pick Amelia up as she makes her way across the flat section here. Now on the closeout. Couple of open gates and then quick through this final combination. And Amelia Smart skis into 29th 4.37 off the pace. Well, we're going quick now through the start list. Katie Hensien next to go here in Spindleruv. Looking for some valuable World Cup points here today, this weekend. This is her 62nd World Cup starts, and Hensien now 3.17 off the pace. And Hensien skis into 27th position, just under 4 seconds back of Shiffrin. And we stay with the Americans here. Elizabeth Bocock next to go. Bocock coming off the back of her best World Cup finish. That was a 12th place finish in the giant slalom in Kronplatz. Yesterday she skied out. She did make it into the second run. And she's skiing strong here on this first run of the slalom. 2.91 off the pace at that final split. Oh, no! Oh, she gets caught on the heels. That last combination just tripping her up. And it'll be a DNF for Bocock. So Nika Tomsik next to go for Slovenia. Tomsik did make it into the top 30 in Flachau for the 25-year-old. She finished 23rd on only her 21st World Cup start. 3.42 off the pace. Oh, this is going to be close to get into the top 30. And Nika Tomsik skis to 30th. Oh, for the moment she's in. But still 30 racers left to go on this first run. Nicole Good next out on course. Nicole Good, looking back to a couple seasons ago, the last time we raced here, she was 12th on day one of racing. Since then, has had some injuries, some long recovery and rehab. Nicole Good for Switzerland will stop the clock and skis into 33rd position. Sarah Bennett, the next to go for the Canadian team. Back into the World Cup start gate. Oh, and we pick her up. She's skied out. So that'll be a DNF for the Canadian, Sarah Bennett. Don't know if we'll get a look at the replay here for Bennett. We go back to the top for the next racer. It's Jessica Hiltzinger for Germany. And Hiltzinger, too, a racer that has found the top 30 on this slope. She was 21st here a couple seasons ago. Oh, and we pick her up. She's skied out as well. Bib number 40, Giulia Valeriani next to go. 21 years of age. This is her 9th World Cup start. She was 18th in Kranjska Gora at the beginning of this month. Round 6 on this season's slalom tour. 2.50 off the pace. Moving nicely here through the lower, flatter section of this slope, and then it drops off again. 3.21 off the pace now for Valeriani. Just needs to get into that top 30, get herself a second run. Well, for the moment, she's 28th. Nice young fan, maybe the youngest fan in the crowd. So Giulia Valeriani into 28th position for the Italians. That pushes Natalie Falk for Austria onto that spot on the bubble, we call it, in 30th position. Anuk Br&auml next to go for Switzerland. It's her 13th World Cup start. And well, she's had 3-point scores this season. And her best finish was in Courchevel, where she picked up her first top 15 finish. So Br&auml is on good form, but no! And she straddles and is out here on this first run. Just gets twisted up there by the gate. Just have a brief hold there. Running the racers quickly here. And well, the starter able to hold the next racer in the start gate so that we can safely get Br&auml off the track, get her up, let her take her time. Just have a look here. She was going well. This is just as it starts to come off the steep section, and she just tries to set the turn a little bit too early, and that inside ski hooks up, and she straddles the gate. So an unfortunate finish on this first run for the young Swiss skier. And she just needs to take a moment to have a look and see what's going on here. Could have twisted the ankle there on that straddle. Her Swiss coach making his way up to help out. In the start gate is Liv Moritz. Just waiting patiently, getting ready to go. Now, Liv Moritz wearing bib 42. 21 years of age. This is her 11th World Cup start. 1.16 off the pace for Moritz. Quick through that flush and nice and quick with the turn. Adapts nicely to the tempo, the rhythm change as she moves out across the flats. Now 2.13 off the pace for Moritz. 2.37 off the pace now at that third and final split. Moritz needs to stay with it here through that final combination. Yes, she does that nicely. And Moritz stops the clock into 20th position. Well, she had a little hold in the start. It did not throw her off for a moment. Aline Danioth next to go for Switzerland. Danioth, 27 years of age, picked up a 25th place finish in Flachau, but her best finish on tour this season was a 16th place finish in round 3 back in Copper Mountain in November. Now Danioth across the line, and she misses that top 30. Madison Hoffman on course now. Hoffman for Australia, 25 years of age, 3.13 off the pace through that final split. Madison Hoffman looking to get inside that top 30. She drops for the line. For the moment, is in there just under 4 seconds back and sits 29th. Well, the first racer for the Czech Republic now out on course. The fans have been waiting for Dubovska. 2.77 off the pace, and oh! We'll just hold on and listen to the noise. The crowd. And Dubovska across the line into 23rd position. To the pure enjoyment and thrill for the crowd, Dubovska from bib 45 has skied into the second run. Bianca Westo next to go for Norway. Bianca Westo skis into 27th. Pushes Hoffman for Australia out of that top 30. Now out on course for Canada, Kiki Alexander across the flats on the bottom part of the track. Alexander, 3.38 off the pace here. 30th spot currently being held by Katie Hensian, and Kiki Alexander looking to get inside of that. Skis into 36th position. Doyan Escan now out on course for the French team, and Escan finished 24th. She has 2-point scores this season on the Giant Slalom Tour. 2.52 off the pace at that second split. Her teammates, Marie Lemieux sits 15th for the moment. Kayla McFarland 17th. And yes, Escan has skied into 26th. Anna Truppe next to go, bib 49, Truppe, 23 years of age, has an 18th place finish on this season's tour. Oh, and here today, Truppe has skied out on this first run. Fixing a couple of the gates here for a moment, just to make sure everything stays in good shape for these next racers. We have bib 50 in the gate. Bib 50 slides into the gate. It's Carla Biharis-Ruf for Andorra. It's her 13th World Cup start, and she is now out on course. Her best finish on the World Cup Tour is an 18th place finish. That is from this season. Remember back to Semmering, those challenging conditions. Oh, and here in Spindleruv, she has skied out on this first run. No finish for the Andorran. Not easy on the Slalom Tour to fight into the top 30 from these higher start numbers. It takes a lot of grit, courage, and real commitment to your skiing. Emilia Mondinelli out on course now for Italy. And the young Italian at 21 years of age has found the top 30 a couple of times this season. 2 27th place finishes. Mondinelli through this final split, 3.20 off the pace. Oh, it's going to be close to get into the top 30, and oh, she's done it for the moment. 28th position here for Mondinelli, 3.7 back, and that bumps Aline Hopley out of the top 30. It's Lara Delamea currently sitting 30th position, watching closely as we go through the next starters. Oh, and it's Francesca Baruzzi-Fariol, who has skied out for Argentina. Giorgia Colom next to go, wearing bib 53. The Italian. Oh, she's into all sorts of trouble on the steeps and will not finish. Franziska Grich next to go, wearing bib 54, has dropped in the slalom standings 3 years ago in 2023 when we raced here in Spindleruv. Franziska Grich finished 6th in the second slalom. So she has some experience, some results to draw on here on this slope, but oh, she has lost all her speed there, skied through the back end of the combination. So she has crossed through the gates, but it's the speed lost with that error. And Franziska Grich for Austria through these final turns. And she will not make that second run. Oh, an unfortunate mistake in the middle of the pitch through that hairpin combination. We go back to the top. Next to go, Maria Skanova is out on course now. And Skanova, 36 years of age. This is her 73rd World Cup start. 4.35 off the pace for Skanova. And she'll cross the line into 42nd position. So Laura Delamea still holding on to 30th spot. And we get into the final grouping of starters here. Is Justine Lamontagne next to go for Canada. And we pick her up lower down, moving nicely across this flat section. 2.27 off the pace. Oh, Lamontagne is looking to get a spot in that top 30 through that final combination from bib 56. She has skied into 17th position. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. What a ski. And I must say she gives Canada a starter in the second run. Amelia Smart missing the target time. Kiki Alexander as well. And Justine Lamontagne now well into the top 30. So let's go to Taylouise Sternason for Norway. Strong in the giant slalom discipline. A tough day yesterday. 2.8 off the pace. That target time to get inside the top 30 is 3.7 back, and she's done it. She gets in there, ties with Bucik Jogan, and Sternason, for the moment, has a second run spot. Giada D'Antonio, the Italian, 16 years of age. 16, you might think that this is her first ever World Cup start, but no, she had her first ever World Cup start in Semmering back at the Christmas break, and those were challenging race conditions. She didn't make it to the finish, and here today in Spindleruv, she's 3.14 off the pace. This is within the target time to make it to the second run. Giada D'Antonio dives for the line. Oh, she's just missed it by 1/100th of a second. It's a tie at the moment with Mondinelli and Westhoff. Well, that's a good ski. We will see more of Giada, the young Italian. Elena Labastova next to go for the Czech Republic. Oh, and she has skied out. We stay with the Czech Republic here. Adriana Jelenkova, bib 60. And we are nearing the end of this first run. 3.53 off the pace. That target time to get inside the top 30 is to be within 3.7 off the pace. Oh, and now for Jelenkova, she's just outside that target time, but this is a good clean ski from the Czech racer. From bib 60, skis into 44th position. What a spectacular atmosphere at the finish area here in Spindleruv. So many fans have come out to watch today's race. Oh, and Chiara Poignot for France. Just as we pick her up, she has skied out and now decides to go back into the course. But it's the time lost. It will be too far off to make that second run. And Poignot does cross the line, but it's the time gap. Just a short hold here as we fix a couple of gates on the course. 5 racers left to go on this first run. And remind you, second run will go out at 12:30 local time. You can see the course workers fixing those gates, making sure they're in tight. And it's Aniela Sawicka next to go in the start for Poland. It's her first ever World Cup start. The 25-year-old is making her World Cup debut here on the slopes of Spindleruv Mlyn. Some American fans on the side. And now out on course for Poland, Aniela Sawicka. Get a good look at this whole run, and after 61 racers have gone ahead of her, there is that group. She's trying to get the skis, set the turn in that groove and move with it, work with the roughness that has been set on the track. Well, we just saw a couple of racers ago, Justine Lamontagne ski into 17th position. So there still is speed to be found on this first run for these later starters. Aniela Sawicka, her first ever World Cup start here in this slalom. Oh, and she's made it to the finish. She stops the clocks. 38th position, very respectable ski from the young Polish skier. Next to go, Sofia Maria Moldovan for Romania. She also raced in yesterday's giant slalom. Oh, and she has skied out on this first run. Go back to the top for bib 64. Elis Somarova, another of the racers for the Czech Republic. Oh, and she has skied out as well. That's actually on screen. The next racer, Katarina Srobova, who I suspect has also skied out. And now we go to the final. Well, here we have a look at. This must be 65. No, apologies. This is Natalie Anna Machitkova. And, oh, she's gone down hard on the flats. Oh, that's a shame. The crowd was lifting the noise, cheering her on. That will conclude our first run here on day 2 of racing in Spindleruv, Mlyn. This is round 8 of 10 on the women's Audi FIS Ski World Cup Slalom Tour. It's Michaela Shiffrin who leads the way. A win here today, well, in fact, a top 7 finish here today would secure her the overall globe title in slalom for this season. Eliane Christen for Switzerland, 12th. Zrinka Lucic in 13th. Marie Lemieux rounds out the top 15. Justine Lamontagne, your highest bib number to get into the top 30. She sits 17th. And there's a tie there in 30th with Emilia Mondolini and Bianca Westo. And from there onwards, these next starters have not made it to the second run. It will be the fastest 30 in reverse order on the second run. A new course will be set. The athletes will inspect once again, and we will get underway with that second run, the closeout of this race here in Spindleruv, Mlyn, at 12:30 local time. Myself, Britt Janik, and the team at FIS TV, we thank you for joining us here on this first run, and we'll see you for the closeout of this race.